Steel 90, the 90-day blueprint to become the most confident person in the room. It is the world's simplest, most science-based method to dramatically improve your confidence fast. That is what I'll teach you today. I have practiced this myself for years, this protocol to great success. I've also taught this to countless clients to great success. Now, this is based on the Steel Code of Confidence that I've created. It is your confidence operating system. And there are three forces of unshakable confidence, again, based on science. This is the confidence trifecta. Number one is Steel standards. These are your daily habits, daily disciplines, daily process. Number two is your Steel self image. This is how you see yourself. We will never outperform our self image. And number three is your Steel swagger. That's your body language, vocal tonality, how you dress. This is our Steel trifecta. This is how we build unshakable confidence. Now, Steel 90 is a fast, simple process to dramatically improve all three of those. Again, I've been practicing this for years. It is simple, it is science-based. The last thing you need to know, and here is AJ's opinion. What I'll teach you today is all rooted in great science as well as my experience and empirical evidence. So, in terms of our Steel 90 day protocol, we'll start with our Steel standards. And here's how we execute on this. We will create one most important goal for you. And you can do this as we go along. You can pause the video or the audio, and you can identify one important goal. Now, I prefer a physical goal, a health related goal, for a lot of reasons. One, it's great to challenge ourselves physically. There's a great spillover effect in all areas of our life when we push ourselves physically. You can also choose a work or wealth related goal or a relationship goal, but I challenge you to choose a health related goal. Now, talk to your doctor, talk to a nutritionist, talk to a licensed professional when you choose this health related goal. We want to do this in the safest manner possible. And once we choose this health related goal, I'll give you some examples. One would be to lose 10 pounds in 90 days. Another one would be to do zone 2 cardiovascular exercise for 30 minutes a day, 3 days a week, and then do 2 days a week of 30 minutes of resistance training. That would be a physical goal. Another physical goal would be to learn to defend yourself by training in mixed martial arts or Brazilian jiu-jitsu in a self-defense related manner for 5 days a week. Another physical goal could be to complete a 5K race in a certain amount of time. These are just examples. Now, you could combine the self-defense goal where you would train in Brazilian jiu-jitsu for 1 day a week, do 2 days a week of cardiovascular training, and then do 2 days a week of tactical strength and conditioning training. Okay. These are all ways to challenge ourselves physically. Now, say you choose the weight loss goal. We want to identify the one most important task you need to complete for minimum 5 and up to 7 days a week. So if you choose a weight loss goal, there's quite a few things you could do. You could exercise more, you could get better sleep, you can get an accountability partner. There's lots of things you could do, but the most important thing you could do is to clean up your diet, to eat better. So if you chose that for your number one goal for 90 days is to lose 10 pounds, the number one most important thing you need to do is to clean up your nutrition. Okay, that's your one most important task that you need to do 5 to 7 days a week. In this one, closer to 7 days a week. And you need to learn how to eat properly and you need to focus on this every day. Now, we really want to focus on your one most important task because there's always one thing that will move us 80 to 100% closer to our goal completion. All right. So pick that one thing. If you are completing this religiously and relentlessly, this one most important thing, you can add one and at the most two more things to help you complete your goal in 90 days. But I suggest you really focus on that one most important thing. Okay. Keep laser focus on that. And if you only do that for your 90 days, that's excellent. You'll achieve your goal. Now, I want you to achieve this at a 90% completion rate. Okay, that's the goal, to complete this one most important task. So say out of 10 days, you're completing this 9 out of 10 days. Okay, whatever 90% is. Say you're doing it 5 days a week for 2 weeks in that block. I want you to hit it 9 out of 10 days. That's what we're aiming for. We are aiming for progress, not perfection. So identify that one most important goal, quantify it, make it a SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time sensitive. Have that measurement for that goal, and then identify what the one most important task is. If you're not sure what that one most important task is, again, talk to your doctor, talk to a nutritionist, talk to a reputable personal trainer who's got a good science-based method, okay, good qualifications. Talk to a performance coach, talk to a therapist towards whatever your goal is in terms of your health, or if you choose a work or relationship goal. If you don't know what that one most important task is, or you don't know how to quantify your goal, talk to an expert and they'll help you do it. Okay, so again, it's one most important task for 90 days at a 90% completion rate. Now, I'm going to give you what I call the MAP method, which is what I've found to be, and again, this is very science-based, the nuclear weapon of goal achievement and or habit formation, the MAP method. This is what I call it, MAP. It's measurement plus accountability partner. So I want you will track this on a daily basis, whether you completed your most important task. Okay. And then you will get one accountability partner that you'll check in minimum on a weekly basis. And I want you to get someone who will challenge you if you don't complete your task, your most important task, at a 90% completion rate for the week. So measure it daily, get an accountability partner. That's the MAP method. And I'll tell you the science in a minute behind that. Okay. So let's talk about some of the science behind why we're choosing this in terms of our STEEL standards to improve our self-confidence. Okay. This is from Dr. Albert Bandura's self-efficacy theory from 1977 at Stanford University. Physical mastery builds mental mastery. This is confidence by evidence. And the finding from Dr. Bandura was that mastery experiences, meaning succeeding at hard physical tasks, are the strongest source of lasting confidence. And what's the impact of this? When you overcome physical difficulty, you rewire your brain to believe, I can do that. I can do anything. Okay, let's talk about a weight loss goal or improving our body image. So, improved body image boosts confidence in social and professional life. And this is based on a study from the Journal of Health Psychology in 2008. And the finding was that weight loss led to increased body confidence, increased assertiveness in social settings, and an increased willingness to pursue career and relationship goals. Incredible. The impact of this is when you feel better in your body, you show up bigger in life. So let's talk about that MAP method that I referred to earlier, measurement plus accountability partner. And this is a study by the Association for Talent Development in 2014. Accountability increases consistency by 95%. So the finding is the probability of achieving a goal by having a plan increases it by 50%, having that plan, following that plan, and then having a partner you report progress to increases your chances of success by 95%. And the impact of this is accountability nearly guarantees execution. Can't overstate this process of measure it and get an accountability partner. And here's a few quotes to end this pillar of our Steel90 protocol, which is pillar number 1, steel standards. And here's a quote from Jim Rohn, the great success expert, Jim Rohn. He said, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day." And here's a quote from Jack Canfield, author of one of my all-time favorite books on success and performance, The Success Principles. Just came out in 20th anniversary edition. Congratulations, Jack. Jack says, everything you want is on the other side of your fear. Let's talk about pillar number 2 of our Steel Code of Confidence, and that is a Steel self-image. And this is built right into our Steel90 90-day protocol to become the most confident person in the room. And to increase our Steel self-image, I've created what I call the confidence workout. Again, very simple, very science-based. It takes as little as 3 minutes a day to complete, so there's no reason not to do this. And this is something I do pretty much every day, 363 days a year, probably 365. Minute number 1, we're going to complete a log. I call it the learn, serve, do hard things log. I believe these 3 habits are the root of all success and happiness. After studying high performance across the military, sport, and business, 25 plus years, these are the 3 habits I've narrowed it down to, practiced by the happiest and the world's most successful performers. So number 1, you will write down one thing you learned in the last 24 hours. Number 2, you will write down the one person you served in the last 24 hours. And number 3, you'll write down the hard things that you did, 1 or 2 or 3 hard things that you did in the last 24 hours. Very simple. Less than 60 seconds, probably closer to 30 seconds. Now you can write more than one in each one of those 3 categories: learn, serve, do hard things, but you only need one. Again, these are the 3 habits practiced by the happiest, highest achievers in the world. Okay, now, and you can do this on a smartphone. I do it in a smartphone. You can also use a tablet. Okay, you can physically write it out. Some people prefer to write it out. I actually do both. Sometimes I'll use a smartphone. Sometimes I'll physically write it out, depending on if I'm traveling on the road for clients or I'm at home. So that's step 1. Step 2 is a 2-minute visualization in what I call your steel stance. So you will stand up with your hands behind your back, feet wide. Amy Cuddy made this famous in her study on power posing and how our physiology actually affects how we think and feel. So you're going to stand up straight, chest out, shoulders back, and relaxed and down, wide stance, take up space. And you're going to close your eyes. Now, if you have any trouble with dizziness with your eyes closed, do not do this. You can do it seated. Okay, this is a visualization, so you'll do it with your eyes closed. Again, talk to your doctor and be safe. Don't stand up with your eyes closed if you get dizzy. I don't have a challenge with this, but if you do, just be extra careful. You can also do this seated as well. The steel stance, standing for 2 minutes, is really a bonus here. Okay, but you can absolutely do this seated for 2 minutes. So here's what you're going to visualize for 2 minutes. Number 1, you're going to start by thinking about your 3, what I call steel statements. Okay, statement number 1 is how you think. So for example, you will say, I am. Your statements will start with I am. Those are identity statements. I am the most confident person in the room. But that's just an example. You choose how you want to think. Okay. Number 2 is how I act. An example for this would be I relentlessly complete my daily most important tasks. Okay. I relentlessly complete my daily most important tasks. That's your second steel statement on how you act. And your third steel statements is who you are. Okay. Your goals, your self-image, who you want to be, who you aspire to be. Okay. Who you are and aspire to be in 3 key areas of life: your health, your work/finance, and your relationship. So for an example, Your health would be, I am extremely happy at 150 pounds. In terms of your work wealth, I earn $100,000 a year. I am in one of the top, at the top 1% of my field, earning $100,000 a year. That'd be an example of a work well statement. And a relationship statement would be, I am a 10 out of 10 husband, father, and son. Okay, so that's who you are. So your Steel statements, three categories. Number one, how you think. Number two, how you act. And number three, who you are slash your goals. Okay, so you'll think about that in your head in this 2 minutes visualization. And then your second part of this will be, I want you to visualize, and I use this acronym TALL. Okay, how you think confidently, how you act confidently, how you look confidently, and how you lead confidently. So, how you think in terms of your thoughts, how you act in terms of your body language, actions, okay, how you look in terms of your posture, how you dress, and then how you lead in terms of how you speak to others. Okay, so you'll visualize this. The acronym's TALL. Okay, think, act, look, lead. And this whole thing will take 2 minutes. Okay, so you've got your confidence visualization there for 2 minutes. And then before that, you write down your learn, serve, do hard things log. The whole thing will take 3 minutes. If you choose to do the visualization standing with your eyes closed, and you can do this safely, go ahead and do it. So that is our second tool in our Steel90. Okay, the confidence workout takes as little as 3 minutes a day. Now, let's talk about the science behind this quickly. Again, so visualization builds confidence through mental rehearsal. This is based on a study from the Journal of Applied Sports Psychology in 1994, and the finding was that athletes who used mental imagery regularly reported increased self-confidence, increased belief in their ability to perform under pressure. And the impact is the brain doesn't fully distinguish real versus vividly imagined success, making visualization a direct confidence builder. Okay, here's a second piece of science. Now, this is based on the learn, serve, do hard things protocol and how these three things can have a dramatic positive effect on our confidence. So, lifelong learning improves psychological well-being. Okay, this is a study from the OECD Education Working Paper number 20 in 2005. And the finding was that lifelong learners experience increased confidence, increased purpose, increased emotional resilience. And the impact of this is that mental growth directly correlates with personal power and optimism. So that's the impact of learning on our success. I'm sorry, on our confidence and success. Let's talk about the impact of serving others on our self-confidence and success. Acts of kindness significantly increase self-esteem. The study was by Liebermirsky and a few others in 2005 at UC Riverside. The finding was that people who performed 5 acts of kindness per week for 6 weeks showed increased self-esteem, increased life satisfaction. The impact of this is repeated kindness generates measurable increases in confidence. Let's talk about how overcoming challenges builds identity-based confidence. And this is the do hard things component of our learn, serve, do hard things protocol and log. And this is from a study from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology in 2002. The finding was that people who push themselves through adversity adopt a stronger identity as capable, resilient, self-reliant. The impact of this is you don't just feel confident, you become someone who thrives under pressure from doing hard things and overcoming challenges. Here's some quotes. This is from David Ogilvy. Warren Buffett called him a genius. He's one of the greatest marketers and business thinkers of all time. David says, the good ones know more. So we need to learn. Let's talk about service. Here's a quote from the great John Wooden. John was recognized as ESPN's coach of the century. And John tells us that happiness begins where selfishness ends. Here's a quote from Jerzy Gregorek. He says, if you are ever at the crossroads of making a difficult decision, always ask yourself, what is the hard choice? Then take that path. Here's a quote from Dr. Susan Jeffers, wrote a book called Feel the Fear of and Do It Anyway. This is one of my all-time favorite quotes out of the tens of thousands at this point I've collected over the last 25 years. Whatever happens to me, given any situation, I can handle it. Never let these three words out of your mind, possibly the three most important little words you'll ever hear. I'll handle it. Here's a quote from Dr. Michael Gervais, one of the world's top performance psychologists. Dr. Gervais tells us confidence comes from one place and one place only: what you say to yourself. It's that simple. At any given point in time, we are having a conversation or dialogue with ourselves. You are either speaking in a way that is building confidence or destroying confidence. Being aware and mindful of your inner dialogue is really at the center of being able to grow and pursue potential. It is a skill we can develop. We can guide our mind towards those conversations that build. And lastly, here's a quote from Skip Berkman, the LSU baseball coach and five-time World Series champion. Everything happens twice, first in your mind, then in reality. But that doesn't happen by accident. It only happens with intention. You have to work ridiculously hard every single day to get what you want, but everything happens twice. It will never happen unless you see it first. Let's talk about pillar number 3 of our Steel Code of Confidence and our Steel90 90-day confidence blueprint to become the most confident person in the room. Our third pillar is Steel Swagger. This is our body language and tonality and how we dress. We will focus on our body language because that's most important. Okay. You will choose to focus on for the next 90 days one body language improvement. Okay. I suggest that you start with posture. I'll refer to it as stand tall. Okay. That'll have a tremendous impact on not just how you feel confidently, but also how people perceive you, perceiving you as confident and powerful. Okay. So standing tall, taking up space, chest out, shoulders back. Imagine a string pulling through the top of your head, having that great posture, standing tall. That's the one I would suggest you focus on. But if you feel great at that, or you feel more excited to focus on the second one, you could choose what I call the steel gaze. That's strong eye contact. Okay. That's holding great on eye contact for at least 3 to 5 seconds and often challenging yourself to hold eye contact until the other person breaks the eye contact. This can be very uncomfortable at first for you, but it's a great practice. So choose one of those, okay? Either that stand tall protocol of posture or the steel gaze, strong eye contact, okay? Now, you can use, it's very important that you use reminders when you're trying to build this new habit. I love the doorway cue. So anytime you walk through a doorway, you remind yourself to either stand tall or to practice your steel gaze. Okay, very powerful, the doorway cue. Walk through a doorway, remind yourself. You can combine this with reminders on your phone to go off minimum every 15 minutes and no more than an hour to check your steel swagger, either standing tall or your steel gaze. Okay, reminding yourself throughout the day. 2 tremendous ways to build this physical habit of steel swagger, picking either stand tall or your steel gaze. Okay, so let's talk about some science behind this in terms of, let's talk about the posture, the stand tall, in terms of how you feel and how it will help you feel more confident, as well as how others will perceive you as more confident and powerful. Upright posture improves self-talk and motivation. This is a study by Pepper and Lynn from 2018. The result was that students sitting upright had improved positive self-talk, improved motivation, and less defeatist thinking. The impact is that physical posture reprograms our internal dialogue. And let's talk about how posture increases perceived confidence, how people perceive us as more confident and powerful. This is a study by Tidens and for Gale in 2003 out of the University of Buffalo. The result was that people with expansive posture were rated more competent, more persuasive, more authoritative. The impact is that body language becomes a visual sign of power. Let's talk about eye contact in terms of how it increases it builds real internal confidence. This is a study from the University of Wolverhampton in 2016. The finding was that participants who practiced maintaining eye contact reported increased self-assurance and decreased social anxiety. And the impact is that eye contact not only signals confidence, it creates it. Now, here's the impact in terms of eye contact increases perceived confidence and authority from others. The study was from the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior in 2006. The finding was that people who held strong, steady eye contact were rated as more confident, more powerful, more competent. Eye contact, the impact of this is eye contact is one of the strongest nonverbal behaviors, nonverbal indicators of confidence. And we'll finish with two quotes here. One is from Leo Lowndes, wrote a book called Talking the Winner's Way, one of my all-time favorite books on communication. Your posture is your biggest success barometer. And here's a quote from Ben Wilson, the creator of one of my all-time favorite podcasts, How to Take Over the World. I had Ben on my podcast, Best in Class. It was a great interview. I strongly recommend you listen to it. And Ben says, if you want to show strength and have charisma in a bottle, this is the closest thing I've found. Just stare people in the eyes and don't blink. It has this shocking effect, and people will find you very charismatic. Experiment with it. It works. Now, I want you to experiment with eye contact or body language, whichever one you choose to focus on for 90 days and really lock that habit in. Now, after 30, 60, maybe 60 days and you feel great about your posture, your body, in terms of standing tall and you feel great about that, then maybe you can start experimenting with the eye contact, staying the steel gaze or vice versa. Okay. But I suggest, again, you start with posture, really try to lock that in. And again, test these things out for yourself and see how you feel and see how people respond to you by keeping that strong eye contact and or by keeping that stand tall steel posture. Now, in conclusion here, and let me summarize this, your Steel90 protocol. This is the 90-day blueprint to become the most confident person in the room. Here's our trifecta, the three forces of unmistakable confidence. Here's our three tools. Number one, identify your most important goal. Okay, quantify it, make it a SMART goal, and then identify the one most important task you need to complete 5 to 7 days. Aim for a 90% completion rate on that. If you have trouble picking the goal, and again, I suggest a health goal, some sort of physical goal first, but you could also choose a relationship goal or a work or wealth goal. If you can't identify that or have trouble identifying the goal or the task, get help from an expert, your doctor, a licensed nutritionist, highly reputable, certified personal trainer, okay, a business coach, a therapist, an expert. If you can't identify your most important goal or your most important task, get some help from an expert on this. And if it's your health goal, if you choose a health goal, talk to your doctor, talk to an expert, before embarking on a new difficult physical challenge. Okay. So identify that goal, identify the most important task, aim for a 90% completion rate, track it on a daily basis, and get an accountability partner. That's number one in terms of our steel standards. Okay. Number two is our daily confidence workout in as little as 3 minutes a day. Number one, write down your one thing you learned, one person you served, and one hard thing you did. At least one in those three categories. Complete that learn, serve, do hard thing log in 60 seconds or less, and then do your visualization. Do that steel visualization for 2 minutes in terms of your steel statements, how you think, how you act, and who you are. And then also that T.A.L.L acronym: thinking with confidence, acting with confidence, looking confident, and leading with confidence. 2 minutes a day. The whole confidence workout, 3 minutes. So that's pillar two of our Steel 90 protocol. And then pillar three of our Steel 90 protocol, very simple. It's our steel swagger. Okay. Focus on, choose one body language component. I suggest starting with standing tall, and practice it on a daily basis. Every time you walk through a door, remind yourself and set that timer to go off on your phone every 15 minutes minimum and no more. Don't let 60 seconds go, or I'm sorry, 60 minutes go by without a reminder to check your body language, fix your physiology. That's your Steel 90 protocol. Simple, science-based, insanely effective. I practice it myself and it's changed my life. And I've had countless clients improve their life as well. If you found this useful, I say jump into this. Get your accountability partner. Identify your goal. Identify your steel statements. Pick your steel swagger body language component and get started on this as soon as possible. It will be life-changing for you. You'll have more success. You'll have more happiness. Hopefully, you'll have better health as well. It'll change your life. If you found this useful, share it with someone. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please share it with one person. And challenge someone to go on this Steel 90 90-day life-changing confidence transformation with you. You can be accountability partners for each other. Start a Steel 90 group of several friends that you'll work through this with, several colleagues, several family members. Right? My mission is to help millions of people dramatically improve their confidence so they can best share their special gifts with the world, so they can elevate the world, so they can fulfill their potential, so they can have no regrets when they're older that they didn't unlock their confidence. Because your confidence is either the lid on your life or it's the rocket fuel that will take you to the next level. Don't let it be the lid. Make it be the rocket fuel. And the more confident you are, you can give the gift of confidence to others. Confidence is contagious, right? It's a gift you give yourself, and it's a gift that you give to others, your friends, family, coworkers, the members of your team if you're a manager, your children if you're a parent. It's a gift that you give to others, but you have to give it to yourself first. You've got to do the work to develop this steel in your spine confidence. I wish you an elevated life of success, happiness, and steel in your spine confidence.